Welcome back to the Deep Dig Sports Pod, another YouTube exclusive. I'm your host, Drew, with my other host right over there.
What's
Over there.
up? It's D. Good to see you again. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and hit that notification bell. We're going to be dropping so much content moving forward because the NFL offseason is really starting to heat up. Today, we're actually going to be touching base on our guy, Jimmie Ward. He has some comments. But before we get into that, go ahead and hit all that stuff that I just said.
Well, speaking of saying, I like I used to call him our guy because I thought he wasn't going to be a 49ers guy anymore, but now he's kind of backtracking. According to Akash, Akash on
Yep.
Twitter, Jimmie Ward on the Instagram Live said, I didn't say I'm leaving the Niners. I've been in contact with the Niners. I don't know how it's going to go. I could be playing nickel for the Niners next year. I don't know. We'll see. I've got to look at the best situation. And this is coming after Jimmie Ward kind of talked a lot of shit saying how he's going to move back to safety. He doesn't want to play nickel. He wants to make more money at safety. And I'm thinking, is this he kind of solved what the market was? Because he was in Houston. He was physically in Houston. And now he's kind of coming back down to earth like, well, maybe no one wants to pay me the bag that I want, so I'll just come back to a winning squad. What do you think this kind of walk back on his statements means?
Yeah, I think it is. Like, you start to look around and you start to hear the buzz around the draft, how this is a deep safety draft. Like, so there's going to be a lot of young, cheap talent out there. And then think about it this way, like, look at what happened with Kwaski Tart last year. He was on a contract year. He was on a winning squad. He goes to the Eagles, doesn't make the team, and then is now sitting at home. So you don't want to be that guy. And I think what ends up happening is a lot of teams look at pieces like Kwaski Tart, look at pieces like Jimmie Ward, and they're like, okay, well, you did that because of the surrounding cast. If I take you out of that surrounding cast, how good are you really? And so I don't know, man. And two, it also shows that like Tashawn Gibson stepped in and played at a fucking extremely high clip. So was it really you, Jimmy, or was it, you know what I mean? Really anybody can come in off the street and play extremely well if they have, just even average skills at best. Like, so you start to kind of play those games with it. And so I don't think I thought he would get a bag, but maybe he's hearing rumblings that he's not. Maybe he's just like, oh, damn, like maybe it would be best, but is there going to be a spot for him on this team? Is he going to take that much of a pay cut? Who knows?
And like I'm looking at the free agency list for safeties, and it's pretty stacked, man. Like so we got like Jesse Bates, Jordan Poyer, Adrian Amos, Devin McCourty, blah. LaMarcus Joyner's in there. And there's a lot of guys that are, I call them above average to good. Kareem Jackson, Jabril Peppers, DeAndre Houston Carson, Keanu O'Neal, Eric Harris. Like, there's a lot. DeMonte Casey, Nazir Adderley. Like, there is so many guys in this free agency who could step into an already built defense at a low price and give starter quality play. And so, what is separating Jimmie Ward from the pack? Is he still a top 100 player in the league at a position? Even if he is, he's at a position that is maybe the least valued position on a team.
Possibly,
That's
especially this
like
this
that's not
49ers
special
team.
teams.
Yeah, this 49ers team, which they really get their bread and butter is the linebacking core and the defensive line. And it's like, okay, well, even if we get just decent play on the back end, we're going to get to the quarterback. We're going to get to these like short to mid routes quicker.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking like the days of like the Ed Reed and Troy Polamalu, that like all that shit's over. Like the way teams are built now is D line.
Yeah.
Build a great defensive line, and then whoever the fuck is in the back is whoever is like back there, like in the secondary. And so why am I going to pay $10 million to a safety when I could just go get a guy for $2 million and just like, hey, make sure the wide receiver doesn't get behind you.
Okay.
Like that's it, like or just
Yeah.
draft a guy. Like this is yeah, the speeds aren't good on the safeties in the draft, but this is still, I think, a loaded safety draft class.
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of talent. Yeah, they didn't really test, over the top well, but if you look at them on tape, they're actually all really talented. So you'd feel comfortable just plugging and playing one of those guys. They're cheap, they're ready to go, and you might as well.
Yeah, and so instead of taking a really low deal for a bad team, do you think you just come back to the 49ers on a low deal and play nickel?
Would you want to hear him if you're Kyle Shanahan? If he like, that's the thing is, he did kind of not trash talk, but he was like super open. Like, hey, they tried to get. Oh, Kyle Shanahan was like, "Do you want to ride the bench?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll ride the bench." Like, so even just that like little snippet that you heard was like, okay, kind of telling. Like, do I really want that guy on the team, or do I want to roll out Sam Womack? If I'm Kyle, I'd rather roll out Sam Womack.
Well, I mean, I'd say if he can still perform and like be the best nickel corner on the team, I think there's a lot of guys that are in like situations like this, professional sports, who do get humbled and come back. And as long as you come back and you perform, you get accepted back into the team. I don't think it's ever like, it's very rarely like, oh, this guy had like a falling out because of his contract, so now like the players don't fuck with him. Like I think players are usually pretty understanding of contract situations, and they kind of separate that from the character. And I think if you like look at Debo, Debo was in a big contract dispute, came back the next day after he signed. He's back. He's a team leader again.
Mm-hmm.
I think he could bounce back from that
It's just all
if he's
about
willing to
price.
accept. He has to accept the price. He has to accept the role.
That's really what it's going to come down to, the price that he would be open to. I would lowball the shit out of him if I'm going to be honest. Like, hey, you want to come back into a winning squad where like the games are going to matter, where you're going to be on national TV? Um, okay, you want to do like 5 mil? Like, you open to that?
Yeah. And he's kind of like our Andre Iguodala. Like he's just a guy we keep bringing back every year, and if he's still his body's still up to it, we could plug him in and see what he can do here and there. Teach our younger guys.
Mm-hmm. So,
But let us know, you guys. Do you think Jimmie Ward? Would you resign Jimmie Ward? I know me, D on this podcast said that we shouldn't, but now we're kind of changing our tune a little bit. If we
I
get him
think
for the right price,
yeah, it's all about the price. Like signing Jimmie Ward at 20, 25, no. Signing him at
1 year, 2
two
mil.
2 to 5 mil, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Let us know in the comments. Like, would you bring him back, and what would you pay him? All right, and go ahead and like and subscribe.
Later.